Welcome back to a brand new video where we'll be learning how to cut holes in a mesh. So many times when you're modeling a product, you might end up with bad typology or weird shading artifacts. In order to avoid those, I'm going to show you some of the advanced level techniques and an add-on as well, which will help you in your Blender journey. So without any further ado, let's start the video. So you can follow up with my screencast key so you know what buttons I'm pressing and what I'm doing over here. So firstly, I'm gonna place a mesh. So let's say I want to cut this mesh and I want to create a hole. The easier way to do it is place a cylinder at the center. I'm gonna scale it down, click on this mesh, go to modifiers and then add boolean, set it to difference, click on our cylinder and then apply the modifier. So here we are with our circular hole. So the only problem with this hole is, if you see, most of the vertex of this circle is not attached to our mesh. So if you only need this for a result, then boolean is perfect for you while modeling a product. But if you need anything further than this, let's say if I'm extruding it down and just doing some bevel over here, let me extrude this one as well. So let's say this is the shape that I need. Put subdivision surface modifier over here. Now you see that since no vertex is attached to our mesh for this circle, we end up getting some weird mesh result. And I won't be able to fix it with anything, no matter how many loop cuts I apply. Let's say if I apply some loop cuts over here, I won't be able to apply on top. So in order to avoid this, so let's give it a one more try. I have my mesh over here. This time I'm gonna subdivide it few times. Okay, and now I'm gonna do the same thing with the cylinder. Scale it down, click the mesh, add boolean, set it to difference, click on cylinder, apply, delete the cylinder, and then we have the same result again. But this time, as you can see, that there are many vertices still which are not attached to the mesh, and we'd end up getting same results. I'm unable to even select the whole circle, so even that was not working. So I'm gonna place a mesh again, but this time I'm gonna use an add-on. So if you go to edit, preferences, get extensions, search for loop tools, then you'll see loop tools over here. Okay, you can download it from here, and then go to add-on, search for loop tools again, and make sure you have this checked. So once it is checked, meaning that Blender is using that add-on, and now you have it enabled. If you click on W, for example, over here in the edit mode, then you will see all the loop tools option. So I need one subdivision because I need some supporting cuts inside, and then I'm gonna click W, loop tools, circle. We have a perfect circle. And what I'm also gonna do is delete the face for now, because I want to do something else and show you how it is after applying subdivision surface modifier. So I'm gonna bevel this first. Let's say this much. Let's create something. Okay, so let's say if I shade this smooth first, shade auto smooth, and then subdivision surface modifier. As you can see, we don't have any weird shading artifacts, and this circle looks perfect. And other than that, if I want to like change the shape of the circle, I can easily add some loop cuts, for example over here, and then I can make anything what I want. So moreover, I can even scale this one if I want without having any problem. I'm gonna show you. So if I scale this, I don't have any problem. There's no shading artifact. There's slightly over here because the inner vertex has been stretched, but we can fix that. But this is the right way to place any circle on a mesh on a flat surface. But when it comes to curved surface, it gets a bit complicated when it comes to curved surface modeling. So let's say if I'm placing a cube, and then I'm gonna subdivide this. Now it's a circle. The reason why I'm doing this, because if I place, let's say, an icosphere, these are all triangles, which is already a bad typology, so I don't need that. So I'm gonna apply this so we have all the faces to work with. Now let's say I need a circle over here in this area. So how would I do it? Let's say I insert this, loop tools, circle, and then I'm gonna extrude this, delete the face for now. So I'm gonna bevel this a little bit. I think this is enough. As you can see that we have some weird shading artifacts over here because of the loop tools, but if I apply subdivision surface modifier, it fixes most of the problem. You can still see some stretches, but that's okay, it still fixes the problem. I'm gonna show you one last way, which is a bit complicated, but it works in most of the situations. And before we do, I also want to show you another thing, that let's say I'm gonna subdivide this mesh. You can use loop tools in many different fashions. So let's say I want to create a hole on this mesh, but most of the faces over here are already attached to the product with some different things, so I won't be able to use them. I have single vertex. So how can I create a circle with a single vertex? I can click Ctrl B, then I'm gonna click V, and this is what I have over here. And then again I can select this one, just go to loop tools, circle, and there we go with the loop tool. So this is what you can achieve with the loop tools, as you can see. And if I want to just slightly bevel it, then there will be no traces of weird shadings. Now the one last trick that I'm gonna show you, let's say if I have again a box, I'm gonna apply the subdivision surface, so I have all quads. So with these quads I need a circle over here in this section. So I'm gonna click this over here, or maybe a bit more. Then I'm gonna inset it on our mesh. Okay, this is the mesh and we did an inset, and I need the circle to be over here. So how I can do this is, first I need to make a count of how many vertices I have in this square shape. You can just go on top over here in this section and then enable statistics. Once you enable it, you have all the counts. So whatever you select, you will have the count. For now I'm selecting one vertex. It is showing 1 out of 410. So you would be able to easily track how many vertices you have in a mesh. So what I'm gonna do is select the border. Okay, one last. Okay, so how many vertices we have over here? We have 24 vertices. Place my 3D cursor at the center, place a circle. Now with the circle, as you can see, you can slightly see that these are the vertices count. How many are these? These are 16. How many we need is 24. So I'm gonna increase it to 24. Now I accidentally made the circle in the same mesh. So how I can remove it? By clicking P, separate selection. I have a different mesh now. Now I'm gonna just simply rotate it 90 degrees, set origin, geometry to origin. That's it. We have our mesh. Now I'm gonna scale it down. Let's say over here. Yeah, this would be fine. Let's say this much. Okay, so select everything in the edit mode, click F. Now I'm gonna go to the modifiers, add modifier, deform, and then shrink wrap modifier. Look for the shrink wrap over here, then click on project, and the target would be our mesh over here. All right, so all I gotta do now is click on my circle, click G, and on x-axis I'm gonna just slowly place it like this. Once I do that, I'm gonna apply the shrink wrap modifier, And now comes the interesting part. So I'm gonna click on this mesh and I will delete all the faces over here. So faces are deleted. Okay, so we have two different mesh, this one and this one. So this one has already taken the shape of the circle. So we have our circle over here. So the last thing to do is click both of them, join. Then I'm just gonna click on vertex, this one, and this one should be the last. Then M, merge at last. This one and this one, M, merge at last. This one and this one, merge at last. So I'm gonna repeat the process. All right, so I've merged all the vertices over here. Now the last thing that we need to do is click this face, insert it, and I'm gonna delete this one because this is not flat, not exactly flat. And now I'm gonna add another face, bevel it inside, select the outer part, bevel it. So there you go. So now if I shade smooth, it's already looking way too good without any shading artifacts, as you can see. So because there is no subdivision surface in this one, it is not looking that good enough. So if I add some subdivision in this one, there you go, without any problem. So the reason why I showed you this technique, because many times you have to place different size and shape of mesh on a curved surface, and when it comes to that, there's a lot of shading artifacts because this is not flat, so it will give you some weird shape. Even when I applied this technique, as you can see that there's some shading issues over here in the corner. Let's see why. Because this part is a bit stretched. So the reason why I showed you this technique, because you won't be just creating circles, you have to create different types of shapes and sizes. For example, it may be square, or you're making the buttons for the iPhone, the volume buttons. The shape of those buttons are different. It's not circle. So how would you do it? You won't be able to do it with the loop tools all the time. So sometimes the shrink wrap modifier would be a very good help, as long as you can keep up the count for the vertices. You have to make sure that all of them match. If you use this technique again and again, you will just get a hang of it. It'll be easier for you. But believe me, if you learn this, then it'll be way easier for you to create any sort of shape or size on a model, and without having any bad typology. So if you have learned something new, then give this video a like, leave any comment that what topic you want me to discuss in the next video, and until then, thank you for watching. Take care.